tutorial, what I'm going to be showing you is a fairly good technique. It's called underpainting. So we have an image up in here in Photoshop. This is a shot of a school. All student faces have been erased. So this is a grayscale image. If I want to, for example, colorize this, because I don't have any color information in this at all, I can put color back in using a really cool method. So first of all, I need to look at my image. So go to mode, so image mode, and then quite often it's grayscale, but change it to RGB. If yours is RGB already, don't be too concerned, it's all good. Then you go to your layers palette. If you can't find layers palette, it is under the Windows menu. We have our background here. Double click on background and name this one here original and click on OK. Then you go to a new layer and you drag this layer underneath. Okay. Zoom in, so I'm pressing the Z key and I'm going to zoom into, let's say, this part of my building. Let's choose another piece of building here. Something that a lot of people are going to try out. So this part of the building here, where I'm going to change this color to red. Okay, but I'm still going to keep the detail in this building. Good. So I'm going to change this color to, let's say, my red color here, and click on OK. Now, because this image itself is underneath the main one, I don't see this right now. Okay, so if I change my mode of my original to multiply, watch this. If I now paint, I can actually paint over top of my image and put color in. Pretty cool. Now I'm just going to undo this. I'm going to be a bit more controlled of my work. So let's say if I'm going to colorize this part of the building, I come around here with my selection tool and I can just basically select the parts of my building over here. You can use paths. I have another clip on how to use paths to do it a lot more accurately. Okay, but this here is just going to be a quick and simple method of how to do this stuff. Okay, so now I have the selection here. I'm not going to want this part of the building here to be red, so press Option, and I can now draw a box in there. Now the Option key is going to delete the selection. Go to this one over here too, and delete this selection as well. Okay, double click. Good. Now what I can do is I can go to this tool here, and this tool here makes a mask. Okay, I go back to my normal paint where I paint. Now the mask, it's like if you use a spray can and you use newspaper, the newspaper part doesn't get affected by the spray paint when you lift it off the surface. Okay, so that's what a mask is. So go to Edit now, go to Fill, and then foreground color, yes, it's a foreground color there. Click on OK, and I have my red part of the building. But what happens if I want to, let's say, put a little bit of tone into my building to make it a little bit darker in some bits? So I go to my paintbrush tool, double click on my red, and I'm going to have a slightly darker red there. Okay, I come around to my tool where I can control the brush size and make the hardness a 0. All right, now I can come in and I can paint in a slight dark shadow there, for example. Right, so I can actually have this part of my building here to be slightly different hue compared to the other side. Okay, now if I stuffed up here, I can go to, I can just click on undo. If there's not enough undo things, I can go to my history and stop my brushing happening. Okay, so click here, I can press Shift, click there again to get a nice straight edge. Okay. Pretty good. If I want to have a highlight in there, for example, come back here, change my white to be the foreground, and I can punch in some white highlight in here if I wanted to, for example. Obviously, I can change a color, so I can have, for example, the red again. I can change the red to a slightly lighter red, yeah? Go to the paintbrush tool and put in a highlight across here. So imagine if you could do this for the entire thing. So each color, each of these colors, like the red color has its own layer, and you have, let's say, a yellow layer or a gray layer. Do you understand that? Yeah? All right, any questions? Other questions at all? No? So use the mask tool, this is your airbrushing area. Okay, all good? Excellent.